What's up? What's good, YouTube? In today's video, we will be going over how to solo queue as every attacker. I know it's a team-based game, but a lot of the time, people are stuck playing by themselves because they don't have a stack or friends to play with. Now remember, when you're solo queuing, you have to understand you have to play the game and all the operators totally different, because with solo queuing brings a lot of selfish teammates and you will find yourself trying to push and do everything on your own with no comms. But enough of the chit chat, let's jump into this video. On to our first attacker, we have Striker. I would highly recommend playing him while solo queuing, given that he has 2 gadgets, and half the time your teammates will not want to hop on support for the team. So with Striker, you can run hard breaches and impact EMPs to grab main walls by yourself without help from any of your teammates, or you can bring 2 of your gadgets to destroy a lot of the enemy's utility. So I would do either one of these to help your team as much as you can. So if you do end up dying, you either got a wall or you broke some utility for your team and you weren't useless. But that is just 1 out of 7 operators I'm going to be going over in today's video, so make sure you stay tuned and don't miss any. Now let's move on to our next operator. On to our next attacker, we have Sledge. I don't suggest using Sledge while solo queuing, but if you do, you can either run impact EMPs to help get the main wall or throw them on any utility to be able to walk in and make a play for your team. And I would try to push where there's unreinforced walls so you can use your ability to your advantage. Other than that, like I said, I wouldn't suggest using him while solo queuing. On to our next operator, we have Thatcher. I really highly recommend playing Thatcher while solo queuing, especially if you see someone hop on Thermite or Ace to grab that main wall. That gives you a chance to help them, because over half the time you won't get people that want to play wall. So if they do, take advantage of it and run Thatcher to get that main wall. It sounds so little, but getting main walls is always huge, and it chalks the defender's mental. Also, you limit where they can play. So I definitely recommend using him. He also has a good gun with no recoil, and you can bring claymores so you can put them on any hop outs people might try to attempt. On to our next operator, we have Ashe. If you're going to play Ashe, just don't play her to run into sight and try to slam out. Not saying that you can't do that and get kills, but you run the risk of you throwing a body early in the round. Also, I see too many people use Ashe charge on a barricade. You can literally just use a clip to break it. It's honestly stupid and a waste of her Ashe charges. You can use them for breaking mirrors, enemy utility, unreinforced walls. She is definitely one of the best attackers in Siege, so I definitely recommend playing her, but do it in the right way by helping your teammates, not just Ashe rushing and throwing a body immediately. For our next attacker, we have Thermite. Playing Thermite can literally change the whole game, because like I said, in solo queuing, it's hard given that nobody wants to play wall. So if you don't step up and play it, then it most likely won't get done, and that's one less way for you and your team to push through. And even if you don't push through the breach, just having it open applies so much pressure to the defender team, it can win you way more rounds and games. On to our next operator, we have Twitch. If you're going to play Twitch, I would play smart, hold a body, and use her drones to break any utility like bandits on the main wall, which is huge for your team. Or you can get cap cans, mirrors, Valkyrie cams, and so much more. I see too many people throw a body before even trying to use her drones, and not only help you, but your teammates by getting the utility of the defenders. So please stop using her if you also cannot control her recoil. Just use Brava. I'm tired of seeing y'all have terrible aim on the F2. If you want 2 extra cams and you're trying to get utility, just run Brava. Her gun has no recoil, and you can throw the extended barrel on it with no recoil. It's just a very OP gun. So if you cannot control her F2 on Twitch, just don't use her. On to our next attacker, we have Montagne. I do not suggest Montagne at all. Do not play him while solo queuing. You will most likely always definitely need someone to play off you, but you don't have comms, and I can almost promise you that you will get TK'd on accident. I don't suggest using him at all. It's not a smart idea. Every time I use him, I either get TK'd by my teammate on accident, or I don't have comms for one of my teammates to be able to play with me or hold me planning or anything. So honestly, I would just bring somebody that can help the team more. On to our next attacker, we have Glaz. Please do not even use Glaz in solo queue. He is terrible. While your team is trying to make plays, you are baiting for kills and end up losing rounds. Stop using Glaz. He is not a comp operator. He can be used in good ways, don't get me wrong, but if you're solo queuing, you're probably most likely just going to be baiting, holding long angles, just waiting for people to swing you, and half the time nobody's going to swing and you just wasted time. You didn't help your team get kills, you didn't help break any utility, and you really didn't do anything for the team, because by the time you try to make a play, your whole team's going to be dead, and now you got to try to clutch with a sniper basically. So don't use Glaz while solo queuing. On to our next attacker, we have Fuse. I don't suggest using Fuse. He isn't a bad operator at all if you have comms and help from your teammates, but over half the time you can't plan or rely on your team to help you, because they don't care about you. It's all about them in their head. So if you don't have somebody upstairs holding you while you're trying to place Fuse charges, you can easily get roamed on and die. So now your team is at a disadvantage and you didn't really do anything for the team. On to our next attacker, we have Blitz. I don't suggest using Blitz either while solo queuing. It's not good. You're not going to have help from your teammates at all. Over half the time, people just play Blitz. They run in and try to make a play and end up throwing a body early within the round, or they try to go for plant without having comms with teammates and end up throwing a body that way as well. So just stay away from Blitz while solo queuing. On to our next operator, we have IQ. IQ is a really good operator for solo queuing, but a lot of people don't even use her ability. They just play her for no reason. So definitely go below if sight is upstairs and use her ability to break as much utility on the enemy team. So if you do end up dying, you at least help the team by getting rid of some of the defender's utility and you weren't useless. For our next operator, we have Buck. If you want to play Buck while solo queuing, definitely the main thing you want to do is help the team as much as you can. So you want to go below main wall and Buck below the floor so you can break any bandits, any Cade Claws, or even mute jammers off the main wall, so that can help your teammate that's playing support, help them get the main wall, which helps so much. It sounds so little, but you just doing that can easily win rounds. Or if the sight is downstairs, you can make all types of vert with your Buck shots so you can see down into sight. On to our next operator, we have Blackbeard. Once again, I don't suggest playing any shield ops, but if you want to play a shield op, I would definitely recommend Blackbeard. He comes with an AR and a shield, so if you're going to play him, I would try to spawn with your teammates and push with them so y'all are at least near each other so they can try to help you, given that they can't really give comms and you can't give them comms. On to our next operator, we have Capito. If you want to play Capito, I would definitely just try to help your team and your support players for the wall with your ability. You can use your fire and your smoke to help your teammate get in a sight and try to get that plant down, and you can hold them as they do so. Also, you can use your ability to hop in and make a play for the team and try to get some picks so you weren't useless. On to our next operator, we have Habana. I definitely suggest playing Habana if they're on a downstairs site. You can use her to get hatches, and it will really help the team a lot to have multiple entry points into site, but you definitely have to drone everything because you don't want to get spawn peeked or roamed on and end up throwing a body before you even get the hatches, because most likely nobody will help you get them. And another really good tip I would give you is that if they have a Cade Claw on the hatch, I would Habana the side of the hatch, and normally it blows up the Cade Claw for me, and you can end up getting the hatch without having any help from your teammates. Before we hop into our next operator, I just want to thank you for watching this video. Can you do me a favor? Make sure you smack that like and subscribe button. Turn the post notifications on for more content like this. And if you can, leave me a comment if you have any videos that y'all would like to see me make. Let me know your current rank and your KD and what you're trying to finish as. Currently, there's like 30 something days left, so y'all let me know what y'all want to finish as and before the end of the season. Right now, I'm currently Diamond 3. I'm trying to hit Champ. I haven't hit Champ yet. My peak is Diamond 1, so y'all let me know y'all's. But without further ado, enough of the chit chat. Let's jump back into this video. On to our next operator, we have Jackal. If you're playing Jackal while solo queuing, he is definitely a really good solo queue op, given that you will not have comms from your teammates, so you can have his ability to not get caught slipping by anybody roaming. Also, when you do get a red ping, you can definitely try your best to ping wherever they're at, so all your teammates can see and try to make plays off that while you're swinging them as well. On to our next attacker, we have Ying. Ying is a very powerful operator, but one thing I suggest is make sure you're not flashing your teammates. All the time I see or have it even happen to me, people play her and throw her candelas and I'm nearby and they end up flashing me and I die. So they make me die, throw my KD, and then they end up jumping in and getting killed half the time as well. So stop throwing your candelas. Make sure they will not flash your teammates, because if they do, you basically throwing the whole round. On to our next attacker, we have Zofia. She isn't the best operator, especially for solo queue, but if you're going to use her, I would try to blow up as much of the defender's utility as you can and use her flashes to be able to not only let you but your teammates to push while they're flashed and can't hear anything. On to our next operator, we have Dokkaebi. Dokkaebi is such a powerful op, but you don't just want to use the calls for you when you need them. If you think your teammates are in a fight, or if they're trying to get vert and they don't want to get roamed on, just use your calls so they can hear anybody, they can room clear and make plays. But I see too many people play her and they have horrible aim. So if you cannot control her SMG-12, just don't play her. You are going to have to help the team as much as you can to win rounds and games while solo queuing. So if you have bad aim on her SMG-12, like I said, just don't use her. Use somebody else and help the team as much as you can. On to our next attacker, we have Lion. If you're going to play Lion while solo queuing, I suggest you spawn with your teammates and try to push with them so you can try to use your Lion skins to not only help you, but so you can help your teammates as well. And another thing, stop wasting them at stupid times. You only get 3, and I see a lot of people use them right when they spawn in. Don't do this. It's a waste. Even if you get a red ping, by the time you and your teammates even get close to the building, they're long gone. It was a waste. You want to swing and make plays off them when you use them so you can catch the enemy team off guard when they're standing still. On to our next operator, we have Finka. I highly recommend using Finka while solo queuing because, as you know, she can heal you and your teammates as well. But one tip is stop being greedy and selfish, using her ability only to help you. If you see your teammate is low, even if you're at full HP, use that Finka boost to help them. So not only do they have a better chance of winning any fight they get in, it helps them also to hold a body and not die. Another thing I see people do, they'll wait until multiple people are low to use one. Stop doing this, because most or half the time you wait for the perfect time and 1 or 2 of your teammates end up dying and now you just sold the round. So don't wait for multiple people to get low just to use your Finka boost. If you see one person is low, it's not a waste to use that Finka boost and hold his body and help him be able to win a gunfight. On to our next attacker, we have Maverick. One tip for Maverick is simple. Just use him to help your teammates get main wall, or if nobody is going for main wall, which is most likely what will happen while solo queuing, now you can not only be sneaky and make a hole in breach and try to get an easy pick, you can also get the wall denial and grab wall by yourself without any help from your teammates. On to our next operator, we have Nomad. One tip for Nomad is if you see your teammates on Ram or Fuse to grab Vert in a downstairs site, just go Nomad, spawn with them and help them, and use your Nomads to stop all types of flanks the enemy team may try to do. So now y'all can play Vert and make plays without having to worry about anybody roaming on y'all and getting free picks. It will help you hold a body and your teammates as well. Also, it's so important because getting Vert is so vital because now the defenders can't plan half of the site without you being able to see them on Vert. It is just as important as getting main wall. On to our next operator, we have Gridlock. One tip for Gridlock is kind of the same as Nomad. Just use her ability to throw them on flanks that people may try to do. I know it sounds so small, but just you doing that can help your team hold bodies and not get snuck up on and end up dying. So they will have to shoot or throw an impact to make noise to blow up the Gridlocks, and now you can hear them trying to flank and get the kill, or your teammates can swing them. On to our next attacker, we have Nook. One tip for Nook is just play her how she is supposed to be played. Use her ability to try to sneak past cameras and slowly sneak in the sight, so when your teammates go to make a play, you can just walk in the sight and make a play. Also, she has impact EMPs, so you can use those to throw on any entry points to be able to walk into sight if they have any banshees or any utility on entry points to slow you down. On to our next operator, we have Amaru. One tip for Amaru is just don't use her. It's that simple. She is one of the worst ops on attack to use while solo queuing. All you're going to do is Amaru rush into the building, which is such a loud sound cue, and you're most likely going to get first picked within the first 30 seconds of the round and throw. That's the last thing you want to do. Don't get me wrong, you can get in a sight and slam out and get kills, but if you're playing higher ranks, it would definitely backfire and not work, so do not use Amaru, you would just sell rounds. On to our next operator, we have Kali. One tip is the same as Amaru, do not use Kali. The only thing you can get from her that is going to help the team is help get main wall, but there are so much other operators that are better that you can use to help get main wall than a sniper op. You 80% of the time are just going to hold long angles, baiting for kills, not helping the team at all. She isn't good, especially for solo queuing, so do not use her. I promise you're just going to be trying to boost your KD and end up losing the round because you're not helping push site with your teammates. So would you rather boost your KD or win games? On to our next operator, we have Iana. One tip for Iana is don't use her. I would just suggest using Twitch or Brava, which can both take away the enemy utility. Iana clones cannot do any of that. When you use her clone, it is very loud, and a lot of the time people will swing while you use it and get an easy kill on you. But you can use her ability to bait them and act like you're getting on the clone and make them swing and get an easy kill. But like I said, that's really it. I would just go Twitch or Brava. Both of them get 2 extra drones and can both take away utility, which help your teammates. Your Iana clones don't do anything for your teammates, giving you can't give any comms anyway. On to our next attacker, we have Ace. One tip for Ace is just try to open as many walls as you can. I see people all the time throwing all his ace charges on the same wall. It's a waste of them. You can make 3 different entry points into the building. So use that to your advantage and stop wasting all his ace charges on one wall. Also, use his claymores to put on hop outs, so while you and your teammates are outside of breach, they can't try to run outside and make a play on you. When they do, you'll get easy kills off your claymores. On to our next operator, we have Zero. One tip for Zero is actually just use his cameras. I see too many people run him and don't even use them. So if the site is upstairs, what I like to do is go below site and shoot cams under the floor and flip them above the ground into sight. So now you have cams in every room, so you can not only ping for your teammates, but if your teammates die, they can flip to your cams and ping stuff as well to help you out. Also, I would use this cams to help get main wall, so you can do what I just said and shoot the bandits, Cade claws, or even mute jammers off any of the wall to help your teammates be able to grab it. On to our next operator, we have Flores. One tip for Flores is just stop using his cams for no reason to just see where their enemy team is playing. That is a waste. And stop using his cams to try to get kills with them. They're both a waste. Use his cams to blow up all the enemy team's utility. He literally counters so many ops, being able to just blow up all their utility. So now you can make a play as well as your team because there's no utility to slow y'all down. On to our next operator, we have Osa. One tip for Osa is just spawn with your support players and help them push main wall. She has impact EMPs. You want to run those so you can help get that main wall, and you can also sit behind her shields and hold your teammates while he goes for plant. And if they try to throw a nitro at you, you can just throw your impact EMP and now they can't blow you up or your shields, which is really huge. On to our next attacker, we have Sins. One tip for Sins is please just don't play him. He is one of the worst attackers on Siege. He did get a little bit of a buff, but he still isn't good. He blocks your teammates' point of view, and he doesn't do much for the team other than nobody being able to see anything. So all you can do is stand still, wait for them to go away, which wastes time. Or you can try to walk through it and make a play, but most of the time they would just have utility. So when you try to make a play, it always backfires. The only good thing you can do with Sins is help your team go for plant, but it's still terrible. You could just play Grim and not only give you and your teammates red pings, but you aren't blocking you and your team's point of view. On to our next operator, we have Grim. One tip for Grim is just push main wall and Grim off all angles and let your team get that plant down early. If they swing, not only do you, but your team has red pings on them, so you should always win those gunfights. Even if you don't push main wall, you can literally just Grim off so many angles, which stops the enemy team from being able to move and make a play. So your team can push up off that, and if they do hit the bees, now your whole team can see exactly where they're at, which is so huge. On to our next attacker, we have Brava. One tip for Brava is just try to hack as much utility from the defenders as you can. A lot of people just use her cams for intel, which defeats the whole purpose of using her. You want to hack that utility so late in the round, you and your team can push up and make plays without having to worry about hitting any utility. On to our next operator, we have Ram. One tip for Ram is stop just running Ram for the gun. If they're not downstairs, then don't use her. If they're downstairs, stop just getting the vert and running downstairs. You defeated the purpose of getting the vert in the first place. You need someone to play on it and get easy kills. Just get the vert, watch for flanks, wait until your team can go for plant, and if they do get it down, there is no way y'all should lose that round, given that you have vert on the diffuser, so they can't defuse at all. On to our next operator, we have Deimos. One tip for Deimos is just try to ping where the person you're tracking is, and you can use him to roam clear also. So if you see your team is going for vert, you can use Deimos and scan to see if anybody is trying to roam on you and your team, which is huge if y'all get that pick. Also, you can have the person you're scanning so focused on you that your team can easily make plays and get kills off it as long as you're trying to ping where they're located. That is going to be it for today's video. I hope it helped you a little bit and that y'all enjoyed it. Y'all be safe. God bless. We out.